Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. This is the Pushing Lovely Google Plus Hangout on organizing and time management, hosted by our own Thien Kim Lamb. We're excited to have her here tonight to do this hangout for us. It's something that we all need and can use. Now, before I turn everything over to her, I just want to remind everyone about our upcoming hangouts. On Monday, November 25th, we're going to have Amira talk with us about how PR firms and others view bloggers. On November 26th, Val Bowden is going to talk with us about LinkedIn. She's a specialist in those LinkedIn groups, and she's going to talk with us about how those can help us. On Tuesday, December 3rd, I'm going to be hosting a hangout on branding for us bloggers. And on December 4th, Amira is going to talk with us again about beyond the blog, what you can do with yourself and your brand beyond your blog. So we have a lot of interesting and exciting things coming up, and there will be more people volunteering to do hangouts. Some of them don't know it yet, but I'll be sure to tell them in the next couple of days that they are volunteering to do hangouts. I'm sure they'll be excited. So now that everybody's excited and a little nervous, I'm going to turn everything over to Thien Kim Lamb, who actually did volunteer to do this for us because she saw how many of us talk about needing to organize, needing to manage our time better. So she was gracious enough to volunteer all on her own to do this hangout for us. So now I shall be quiet and let her take over.
Hi, everyone. Janine, I figured if I didn't volunteer soon, you would volunteer me, so I just kind of jumped the gun. So I'm a huge proponent of Google Calendar. I've been using it for several years, and I use a combination of paper planner and digital planning. So it's just a matter of finding how it works for you. So find something that works for you and stick with it. So that being said, I'm going to show you how I use Google Calendar and how you can use it to just make aspects of your blogging work easier, or you can use it into your personal life too. So why do I like Google Calendar? Because I use Gmail for all of my accounts. So I have my blog email, kim@imnotthenanny.com, gets forwarded to my Gmail account. So it's all there. I don't have to log in to 3 or 4 different systems to access my email. So I've set up my Gmail to do that. And if you use an Android, it syncs up to your phone seamlessly. You know, all your contacts and your calendar on your phone, it syncs up to whatever you see on your desktop. It's also backed up, so if you lose your phone, you just have your contacts in your Gmail, your account. I think iPhone has an app for Google Calendar. I'm not familiar with it because I don't use an iPhone, but it's definitely an option. And I've heard from people that the iPhone calendar is not very user-friendly. So I had a lot of people tell me that. And Google Calendar is great. So, you know, we get a lot of invitations through Eventbrite to go to events, conferences. You know, you register for things. Well, through Eventbrite or Evite, there's usually a button you can click that says Add to Calendar, and Google Calendar is one of those options. You click on it, it automatically adds it straight to your Google Calendar, one click, so you don't have to remember to input it later. So that's why I use Google Calendar, or GCal. All right, I'm going to get a little technical, so I'm going to do a screen share and show you my calendar, and you know, just feel free to type in a question on the side if going too fast, or if you want to know how to do something, because I set up my calendars a while back. So let me know if I missed something. Okay, so I'm going to show you my calendar, and I've hidden a bunch. So if you see on the side here, I have my different calendars set up for different things. So I have my personal schedule, so that's me, and then my kids are young, so they don't do a lot, so I have one calendar for both kids. If you want, some people have separate calendars for each kid in their family. So it just depends on what you need. And then I have a calendar for from left to right. So this is a public calendar people on the website can see, and my book club members can see. They need to look up when our their posts are due. And then what I'm going to talk a lot about is Kim's Rocket List. So this is my my to-do list that I use to schedule, you know, if I have due dates for blog posts, or if you can use this as an editorial calendar. But this is how I stay organized. And nobody sees this but me, so my husband doesn't, you know, his calendar doesn't get bogged up with all of my to-do things. All right, and as you see, some of them are color coordinated. If you see, like, family activities are purple, from left to right is pink, and you can click on them to turn them on and off. So, like from left to right, so I turn it, you know, turn some things on, and you can turn it off. So that way, you don't have to see everything. You know, you don't want to get overwhelmed. You don't have to look at everything at once. All right, so to create a calendar, it's really easy. So you click on this little drop-down box, create a new calendar. And, you know, you can call it whatever you want, describe it, you know, a description, just whatever it is, call it something that will motivate you. So this is your to-do list. When I did passion parties, we called it our DMO. So it stands for Daily Method of Operation. So things that you have to do every day or every week or every month to keep your business running. Okay, and this is where the beauty of this calendar comes in. So on my Rocket List, I use it to set monthly tasks. So if you look on the first Wednesday of every month, so right here, I back up my blogs. All right, and I know I have another. I think I have one more thing where I do monthly, but I don't see it up here right now. And anytime I have, like here, I set a due date for myself. I need to send story ideas to one of my editors. Okay, and if you notice, I don't just type it in there and set it for the day. I put a time. So, like, I know my work hours are 9 o'clock to 10:30 in the morning, and then about 8:30 to whenever at night. So usually 12 or 1. So that's when I set all my tasks. So if you know what hours you work, you set this so that you know, at 2 o'clock you're like hanging out with your kids. You think, you know, there's something I'm supposed to do, but I can't remember, and it kind of ruins that your off time, your unplugged time. So I see this here. If I check my calendar on my phone, I'll notice that, you know, oh, at 8:30 I need to sit down and come up with some pitch ideas for my editor. All right. Let's see. Okay, so this is the beauty of this calendar. So I'm going to go to Edit Event, and you can have Google Calendar send you reminders. Over here you see SMS is text reminders. So you can set that up in your calendar settings. When you create your calendar, there'll be a setting for putting your phone number in for text messages in. So I set it up to do a default text. So 10 minutes before I'm supposed to do anything, I get a text into my phone. And you know, every time that phone buzzes for a text, you reach for it, right? So this helps me remember and put all the information you need. So, like, let me go back to so I had a phone call with the client yesterday, and if you look at the event, I have her phone number and everything in here. Oop, I shouldn't put that on. Anyway, so when it pops up my phone numbers there, I can tap it right on the screen and call the person if I'm not at home. You know, if I'm running errands and I totally forgot about this appointment, all that information is there. Let's see. And I love how easy Google Calendar is to use, because say my call with Nancy was postponed, something came up, and she's like, oh, can we move it to Thursday? Sure. All I have to do is grab it and drag it to Thursday. Bam. One thing. Super easy. I can do it right then on the phone when we're talking. I don't have to change it. I'm not going to move it back because I already had the phone call. I don't want to get a text on Thursday for a non-existent phone call. So at any time, I'm going to turn off my my personal calendar. So anytime I have reminders that I want to do, like I have a social fabric shop due on Sunday, so I put that there, and I actually set a reminder to remind me 4 days before, okay, because those things take more time. So if I get a reminder 10 minutes before it's due, I'm not going to be able to get it done. So just kind of think ahead and know how long it takes you to do things, how long it takes you to, you know, hold on, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So to give yourself time, you know, if you procrastinate, maybe you can set more than one reminder. So like say I know that I want to go shopping to buy the products for the sponsored post on Saturday, so I can send another text reminder, right? Saturday's the day before, so one day before, and then save it, and get another text on Saturday. You guys have any questions so far? Okay, if you have a question, just type it on the side, and I'll try to answer it. Okay. So that's how I use my calendar. It's pretty simple. Now I feel like I didn't prepare enough to tell you guys. You can create one for each blog, you know, if that helps you visualize things. For me, like seeing everything spread out really helps. You can create a new one to use for your editorial calendar. So that what, you know, and if you say like every Wednesday you want to do a food post, you can do, right, food post for I'm not the nanny. And then you can tell it to repeat on every Wednesday. So we're going to repeat it. So see, it says Wednesday repeat weekly, and then maybe I want to do it, you know, it never ends, okay? Where'd it go? Uh-oh. Okay, let's try that again. Maybe because I did it for last week. Oh, because you know what? I put it on my wrong calendar, right? Food post.
Hey, Kim.
So that's the other thing, is make sure you add it to the right calendar. So we're going to add it to Kim's Rocket List here.
Kim?
Yes.
Can you make it larger? I can just barely see it, and I use Google Calendar a lot, as you know, and I want to try
Can
to
I make it larger?
larger, yeah. Because when I try to make it larger on my end, it just looks wonky.
How's that? Is it showing up larger?
A little bit.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. Good.
You need new glasses, Pam. Okay, so we're going to repeat. I'm going to do it again because it didn't work last time. Every Wednesday. And you can set it, you know, after 5 times to stop, or after one time. I just say never. And that way you can always change it. All right, give it a second. So there it is. So if you see, write food posts. So every week, and if they go to December, it'll show that. And you can see there it is, my backup blog. So I set a reminder for myself every Wednesday to go into my system and download a backup file. In case anything ever happens, I have, you know, the most recent file to back up. Oh, someone has a question. Is there a way to merge your to-do list with your calendar? Michelle, can you elaborate on your question so I can understand what you need? Are you still there, Michelle? Okay, I'm going to turn off the screen share for just if it'll let me. Good, just type it in. I just need to know what your needs are because everybody's needs are a little different. Okay, and GCal does have something called tasks that you can use to create a list to check off, which I don't really use. Hold on.
Can I interrupt for a second? I do use the task on Gmail, and under the calendars, I'm sure you'll get to it later, but under calendars, you can tell it to show your task. And so that way your task will show up on your calendar.
Yeah, so I clicked on tasks, and it comes up on the side. So it does create a checklist. And I don't use it, so I'm not familiar with it, but it seems pretty easy to use. Okay. All right, Michelle, if you have, try it out and let us know how it works for you. Because I actually put my to-do list on paper. I have my feet in both doors.
The task list, if you use the task list, if you give it a date, if you go to the left side of the screen on the Google Calendar, you can tell it to show your task list mixed right in with your calendar, so that your task list will show up every day for whatever task you have to do.
Yeah, so see here it says task. You can switch it over and say email Janine about photos. And then when you're on your calendar for that day, it'll show up. So once you do it, you can check it off. Now, Janine, does the calendar show up on your, the task list show up on your phone?
The task list will show up. It will
phone?
show up on my calendar on my phone, yes. Because it syncs with, like you said, all the Android stuff syncs together. So it's on my phone, it's on my Kindle Fire, it's on my everything.
And then you can take it off the screen. What about iPhone user? Sherelle, I think there is an iPhone app that Yolanda uses, right?
There's an app called Calendar. When I used to use an iTouch for a few months, it's an app that will put your, it syncs your Google Calendar with your iPhone calendar. That same application
But I
works
think now it's an actual
on Android stuff too.
I think now there's an actual Google Calendar app for iPhone, so that might be a new thing. So search in the iTunes store and see if you can find it. And that way it's all in the same system. Okay. Yeah, Yolanda says she uses it on her iPhone. So that's it. It's really simple. It's just a matter of putting in things that you need to do. I'm going to delete this right at the food posting because so here's a way you can update. And it gives you all these options. And it's similar. If you use Outlook, it's very similar. I'm going to delete all of it. All right. December. Yolanda, are you trying to find tasks on your phone or on the desktop? And you see, because I'm campaign leader for Social Fabric, I have a special one, a special calendar, just for reminders there. So, like I said, you can create as many calendars. I don't know if there's a limit of calendars. On the desktop, Yolanda, if you go to My Calendars and you scroll down, it should be the very last thing that comes up on your calendar list, tasks. So if you click it, it should bring it up on the right side of your screen. So do you think that this is something that you would use to set up reminders and to-do lists for yourself, or does it feel like it's too much work? I'd love some feedback. Yeah, Sherelle, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not organized, and I literally had to put in my calendar, feed the children, to remind myself to feed my children. They laugh at me all the time. But I put everything on the calendar from my personal, get up in the morning, wake up the teeny bopper, wake up the kids, and so my whole day, personal and business, I have on there so that I can remember everything I have to do. Because when I don't, all kinds of stuff doesn't get done.
Yeah, definitely. I have this is my personal, so this orangey red, and so my husband has access to this, so he can see if I have, let me delete this, if I have, you know, like I had to go out of town a couple weekends ago, so that's in here. So when he looks at his work schedule, he can make sure that he's home, to watch the kids, and like things that we do together or things that he needs to know about because he has to be here. I use my personal calendar, and then he also puts his work schedule on. He's a very, his schedule is different week to week, so that I know like not to plan anything. It's at 8 o'clock at night because he's not going to be here to put the kids to bed. So let's see what else. Yeah, and then like the kids' schedule. So like if I put everything up, it would be totally overwhelming. See, like that's everything. So when I need to look at specific things, I just take it off. That way my brain doesn't go on. Yeah, Michelle, I don't use the email reminders personally because I get so many emails, and the text ones work better for me. But use the system that works for you.
Hey, Kim.
Yes, Pam.
All right, I use Google Calendar.
Mm-hmm.
But you showed me something different. Like I color coordinate my tasks so that I know what's my personal and what's the bookstore stuff. But I like the way you did it here. Let's
try it.
Well, what I was doing was I was using it all under one calendar. So my calendar, when I would schedule stuff, all the bookstore stuff was like light purple, and my personal stuff was a different color. But I like using the different calendars better. If you could do that again so I could see that.
Oh, sure. So I'm gonna turn it all off so you can. Okay. So the red is my personal things. And then, like, this dark green those are my to-do lists, right? And then my husband has his work schedule. I set it, like, he doesn't see any of these colors. Like, he can set his own colors. So this is only you can see it. And then from left to right has its own colors. Does that help, Pam? And if you use Gmail, they have this really cool, I'm going to switch over to my email. Nobody look! This cool feature that they started doing. So this is an email for a press event that I'm going to Saturday. So if you see how this Saturday, November 27th, has this little ... underneath it. So if I want to add it to my calendar, I just click on it, and it'll have a pop-up. Now, it'll automatically default to your main calendar, which is my personal calendar. But then you can go in and add the time, like, 7 p.m. So you don't even have to leave your email to do it. And when you add it to your calendar, so I'm going to add it. And then if you click Edit in Calendar, your calendar pops up. And then that way you can, if you want to go in and type notes or change it to the correct calendar, it will ever load. Uh-oh. It's probably because on the Hangout. So that's how I add it over here. I just clicked it in my email. So that's a pretty cool tip. How do I add my current email to my Gmail? That's going to be a whole different Hangout, Sherelle. If you want to do some more technical stuff, I can show you how to do that. Now, and I think it's different depending if you use GoDaddy. You're in GoDaddy? Yeah, I use up GoDaddy, so I can show you how to do that on a different Hangout. I don't want to confuse everybody. All right, are you guys? So you can see what I'm doing this week. You can stalk me. I'm gonna turn off the screen share, and I'll take any more questions. But that's what I have. I would let me know if you guys use it to do your to-do list. If you want to use it to track your time, you could even create a calendar for each project to see how long it works. I personally just use a spreadsheet in Google Docs to calculate my time when I work on projects to make sure that I'm not spending too much time on it, because in my head I have a set hourly rate for when I do certain projects. So if it goes below that, then I'll know for future reference either up my rates or figure out how to manage my time more efficiently so that I am making the hourly rates I want. Yay! Organize your Google Calendar. All right, that's all I have unless you all have any more questions.
I like Google Calendar. I think I'm going to make one change to how I use it based on your presentation. I'm going to separate out, well, color code my personal stuff and my business stuff because I haven't been doing that. And I think that would help me a lot just to visually see really quickly personal versus private. I think that personal versus business, excuse me. I think that's a great idea. I need to do that. And I also use it for my timesheet when I apply for jobs and stuff like that. I use it as a diary of I applied for this job with this company, I applied for this job with that company. I put in the date and time, and in the details, I copy all the information so I have it in one place. And so I think color coding it, like you said, would be a really good idea. So thanks for that idea.
Yeah, and Janine, when you switch over, so just create your new calendars and then go into like the event, like say wake up your daughter, your teeny bopper, and you can go click on it to edit, and then just there's a drop down for which calendar you want to move it to, and that way you don't have to type in everything again.
Excellent. That makes it much easier, so then I can do that tonight or tomorrow morning.
Perfect. Does anyone use iCal on Macs? It looks similar to Google, but I would like to compare. I don't have a Mac, so if anybody wants to answer Carol's question. Some people use Cozy Calendar, and I think that you can add your Google Calendar to it. I don't use Cozy because it's just one more interface, and I'm already on, I'm already doing Google. I just don't want to add one more thing to sync up.
Yeah, I'd use Cozy Calendar because I have my teeny bopper. I don't want her looking at my personal Google Calendar, even though she told me she knows all my passwords. But when I was under the delusion that she didn't, I used the Cozy Calendar because I could put personal things for the family there, and it would email notices to my husband who never read them, I found out. And so it did work seamlessly for that.
Now you can create a calendar just for your daughter and then share just that calendar with her so that she sees it.
Exactly. So now I got to change my passwords.
Yeah, you better change that password.
All right, Kimmy, I have a question.
Yes, Pam.
All right, I'm completely paperless. It's taken me 2 years. But I found that I need to use my notes feature on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So like if, someone tells me about a book, I'm like, oh, I got to look up that book. So I write it in notes. Is there something else? Oh, and this is difficult to import into Google Calendar or Evernote. Is there something similar in Google Calendar that I could use?
I'm not sure. I mean, if you're using Evernote, just put everything in Evernote, and then you can. It has a really good search function. Like I use Evernote to record blog post ideas when I'm out and about.
You use it on your phone?
I do, and then you could do the desktop version.
Because I have it on my iPad, which is where I always use it, and then I open it up in my laptop to actually work. But I guess I've always been afraid to use it on the phone. But you use it, no problems. It doesn't take up too much memory or whatever.
As long as you don't take a lot of photos in it. Like I take photos of book covers for kids' books for my multicultural children's book posts, and that does take up some space. But just anything without pictures, it doesn't take up a lot of space.
Okay.
So try that. I think the key for taking, like, I actually do have a file in Evernote of books books people tell me about that I want to read. And I will pull it up periodically. But
why don't you share that with me, Kimmy?
You never asked.
Share that with me, please, on Evernote. I would love to see what everyone else is reading.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for books to suggest to people, and we have a large non-white population at the store that
Oh, for the kids' books? Yeah, that's just my personal note so that when I sit down every month, I write that roundup, and I have it in front of me. Vanessa says Google Drive. You can do Google Drive. I don't know how well it works on iPhone. I know on my Galaxy 4, it's really slow pulling up Google Drive because you have to go into the cloud, as opposed to Notes, which is already on your phone, or Evernote, which is already running on your phone. Because the way Evernote works is that it runs on your phone and then it syncs to the cloud, but not as you're working on it like Google Drive does. All right, if there's no more questions, let's see what time it is. It's 9:39. So I don't. Alrighty. I guess that's it. So if you have more questions you think of later, technical questions, just post it on the Facebook group, and I'll do my best to answer without, screen share.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us. This was really, I think everybody got some good ideas and good information, so that was very good. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to stop the broadcast now. Okay, wait, don't, we have to still be on good behavior a little longer.